outright theft or a smart business move, blatant infringement or legitimate competition. This is Barrage. Gamers and web enthusiasts alike have caused the popularity of browser game Agario to explode. The premise is simple. You play as a cell which can move around and absorb food to grow, eventually becoming large enough to absorb other cells which are controlled by other players. You move more slowly the larger you grow, but you can move faster by dividing your mass in half, at the risk of being partially absorbed by someone larger than one of your halves. You also have the ability to eject a small bit of mass to feed another player or gain a bit of speed. The clever accessibility of Agario and its potential to outmaneuver, bait, and team up with other players, among other things, has given it a viral quality. Enough so that some months ago, it was greenlit on Steam, where it would surely blow up in popularity once more. Problem is, someone else beat Agario to the punch. The gameplay you're watching right now is not Agario, even though it looks almost exactly like it. No, this game is called Mitosis, and was produced by a third party. Mitosis' appearance on Steam has stirred controversy at the least. On one hand, it is clearly a blatant clone created to capitalize on Agario's success and simultaneous failure to release on the Steam store. On the other hand, Mitosis bears significantly more functionality than Agario. Features which Mitosis includes features the ability to form and compete in guilds with other players, additional modes such as Capture the Flag and a last man standing Hunger Games game type, stat boosting equipment, consumable power-ups, in-game currency, and more. There's little question, Mitosis is the superior game. Here's the meat of the issue. Has the developer of Mitosis done anything wrong in effectively stealing Agario's concept? Now, Agario was not the first game to execute a cell-type style of play. Spore was released several years ago, and its initial stages involved gameplay quite similar to Agario, although it was only single-player and much more feature-rich. However, Agario is also several degrees of mutation away from Spore, no pun intended, design-wise, and Mitosis changes nothing about the core mechanics that drive Agario. On the other hand, Agario involves so many advertising requests in the browser as you play it that gameplay is liable to stutter on occasion. Mitosis performs better, supports more features, is Steam Friends List integrated, and the list goes on. Of course, Mitosis isn't without its issues. There's an effort at anti-teaming measures to prevent players from taking advantage of being the first and second top two players by just feeding whomever needs the help in order to absorb the immediate threat. But it's ineffective. Their anti-teaming measures are ineffective, and the best way to play the game in free-for-all is still to convince people to team up with you. After you've split your cell and the cooldown on rejoining your cells has passed, you may find yourself unable to rejoin efficiently because your split cells ineptly drift together. There is a questionable item system which allows you to equip up to 3 stat boosting pieces of equipment, as I mentioned before, and some crazy power-ups such as those that allow you temporary invulnerability or a short distance teleport. And there is some game-breaking potential there, especially seeing as some items will just straight up increase your speed, thus partially negating the whole disadvantage that comes with having a large cell size. There's also some issues with split cell collision. If you split up your cells, you may find that some of your split cells will completely drift into other cells without actually rejoining. And this can cause some pretty serious problems, especially if somebody that you're chasing has this going on for them. Lastly, there is a ranked leaderboard, but for most game modes, all it does is record the highest cell size achieved by an individual player, so obviously the only way to top the leaderboard is to get a bunch of people to endlessly feed you. You could argue that Mitosis is in the wrong, because the developer simply stole and reskinned Agario to be better and to sell microtransactions in the form of currency packages. Or you could say that because Agario was taking an incredibly long time to actually reach Steam, Mitosis developer acted on behalf of the consumer benefits of capitalism. After all, competing products does mean higher quality delivery, and we're seeing that manifested in all the things Mitosis has to offer that Agario doesn't. Now, if we were to ignore right and wrong entirely here, then it's clear that we as gamers have gained from the presence of a great alternative to Agario. Is such a practice ultimately healthy for the industry, though? This has been Barrage.